Oh, this is gonna get out. What's today? Friday? Oh yeah, no, this will be out probably in between Monday and Wednesday.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah, dude. So that's phenomenal because there's a wave going on right now of, especially in the social media realm, of individuals just preying on people and taking people's money and just giving illegitimate like social media advice. And I've experienced, just a little bit of social media credibility with people I've collaborated with, getting around high level guys like yourself and Eric, and getting into that circle. It's like, dude, getting into that room is the same deal in regard to building your brand.
Exactly.
Like there's no other way around it. It's the process, it's development, business development, actually growing yourself and growing your business over years. That's the quality of your content, not a fancy camera or fancy editing and everything like that. So it's like, it's hard, in regard to like coaching people or consulting for people on how to grow a brand when they don't want to put the work in. Like if you're not going to put the work in, brand building doesn't matter. Let's go. We're live, another episode of Adversity Kings. And we have special guest today, Chris Cunningham. How's it going, brother?
What's up, man? Happy to be here.
Happy to have you, man. Good day?
Good day. Great day. Ready to rock?
Let's go.
It's in Miami. Every day's a great day.
Miami's a great day. So I got a bunch of notes I want to go through, but before we jump into that, let's just chop it up, talk life. And we met on Mr. Spofford. We met on Eric's boat.
Shout out Eric.
If he hears I said Mr. Spofford in his podcast, he's gonna text me.
Cut that,
yeah, he's gonna be like, you nerd, what the fuck was that?
Me.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, dude. So we meet on Eric's yacht. Got introduced to everybody. I just moved down here from Chicago, and first thing I realized is people were talking about raising money, and I'm over here like, oh, we raised 400 something million. I'm like, well, what the hell are these guys talking about? So let's jump right into that. So,
yeah, I'm glad you jumped in the convo. We've raised a lot of money. I mean, it took time to get there.
Yeah.
But in total, we've raised $535 million in funding.
Wow.
Started off with just $35 million. We tried to go the route of just building on our own, and we did.
Yeah.
Everything was great. But a guy named David Sachs, co-founder of PayPal, came to us and was like, hey, look, at some point, if you want to fight these giants like I know you do, you should probably take my money.
Yeah.
And so we did. That was our Series A. And then quickly after our Series A, we spent that money well. And, they came back to us like, hey, if you want to raise again, you can. What valuation you want to be at? And Zeb, the founder, the real genius of ClickUp, always had this goal. And when he first invited us to be a part of the company, he was like, look, it's going to be hard. We're going to put in a lot of hours, but this will be a $1 billion. He said it'll be $1 billion company one day.
Yeah.
And he made true of that on our Series B. And then with our Series C, that was a big raise for us. That was a couple of years ago. We raised $400 million at a $4 billion evaluation. So that was awesome.
That's insane, dude. That's insane. So, man, to kind of backtrack, and first off, shout out to ClickUp. They actually use ClickUp here, I believe, right now.
Oh, shout out.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, they
I'll tell you the journey as we get into it.
So let's backtrack. And the first thing I put in my notes, because just being around, different raisings and the venture capitalists of like Chicago and everything like that, it's always like some crazy stories with the raising of the money. So that's one of the first things I put in the notes is, what are some of the stories in regard to raising the money?
I think the craziest part for me, there's definitely some funny parts to it. I wonder how much I can tell in here. The Series A was ironic in the fact that we had started to want to raise money, and we were living in Palo Alto. So we were from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah.
That's where we started the company. We realized we were kind of a big fish in a small pond.
Yeah.
And we're like, we saw the show Silicon Valley, and we're like, I guess that's where all startups are. So we need to go. So we literally packed up the office. I drove, split with another employee, and we drove a U-Haul from Charlotte all the way to Palo Alto, which is supposed to be like startup land. It's not really like that. But we went there. We all lived in a house, and it was 4 of us. We lived in a house, and we started building this company. And in Palo Alto, there's a lot of VCs. There's a lot of tech money there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that there. So I like to play sports. I was playing basketball in a league, playing soccer. And in this basketball league, there's this guy who took interest in me, and he was like, how are you here? You're a young dude.
Yeah.
We were like 26, 27 at the time. He's like, how are you living here? How are you in this space? And I told him, and he was like kind of fascinated. He wanted to meet us. So he came by the house, saw our operation. He's like, look, maybe you guys can be ready for funding. I'm a principal guy at Sequoia. And Sequoia is one of the number one firms there is for raising. So he's like, come by the office, we'll feed you guys, we'll talk, and let's see what we can do. And so they brought us in, and we came with the pitch. We felt like we were hot.
Like
we
a
were
pitch
ready.
deck or just a pitch?
We had a pitch deck. We pitched. We were ready.
Yeah.
We practiced. We rehearsed, and we came in there. And I mean, they basically told us we were cute. Like they were like, look, this whole idea of one app to replace them all, that's what ClickUp is, right? We want to be one app to replace them all. We want you to think about work, log into our app, and have everything you need. And that's what we're getting towards. But at the time, they were like, that's not possible. You need to niche down And Zeb was like, respectfully, no. Like, I don't care what you say. We'll see you later. You know, like we're going to not listen to you. We're going to do it our way. And then sure enough, come time for our Series B, they wanted in. And they even gave him a gift. I think it was like a special grill or something. And then there was a note like, hey, I know we turned you down early, but we'd love to be a part of you this time. And he turned them down, you know, still said no. So I like that we stayed true to our mission, even though, you know, this big company who could give us a lot of money told us to go a different route. We stayed true to the mission. And now a lot of companies are trying to be like us. They're all trying to build everything because it's a rat race. Everyone is trying to be as efficient as possible and, you know, work in less tools. And I think, you know, I really feel like we're a big part of starting that.
And I took here when I was watching your previous podcast. So it's a project management software.
Project management software. So I'll break it down for you. So when you wake up in the morning, you probably have your task, you probably have your calendar, you have your email, you have your docs, you have your goals. If you're really working properly, you know, you have all these different things, and most people have them in different places. They log into their Google Calendar. They might use Front or something for email. They might use, you know, Google Docs or something. So everything is in different places. It doesn't make sense. And you're paying different softwares. You might use Miro for your whiteboarding. We have all that, and we have it in one place. We have Loom, which takes video clips. You know, we literally can do almost everything in one place. So rather than me logging out, logging into this tool, pulling information here, it's all in one place. It's very easy to use.
Now, who's your guys' biggest competitor?
Monday.com, you might have heard of, Asana, Jira. I would say that's our big competitors.
Yeah. And then how do you like navigate in that space?
Most of them they've all been around longer than us. We're the new like young people on the block.
Yeah.
So when we first came into this space, everyone was like, this seems impossible. Like, I mean, I remember some genuine friends of mine, like looking out for me and trying to be like, yo, man, I really think you should pivot. Like, you're going into a space where there's giants. These people have millions on millions on millions on some billions of dollars. They've, you know, a lot of these people came from Facebook and other major companies. How are you, some young guys from North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia, going to compete? And we just ignored all that. We ignored all that and just saw that they were weak. They weren't putting things out as fast. They didn't have urgency. We had urgency. That's the advantage we had. Yeah, they were rich. Yeah, they already had this software, but they weren't customizable. And in our eyes, they weren't like serving the customer. They weren't building as fast as they could. Our life was on the line. We had a tool before this, you know, that we really wanted to put out, and we failed. It was a social media app. So this was all we had, right? It's an app called Memory. Yeah. And it was a Snapchat competitor. We put everything we had into this, or a lot of it, not everything, but we put a lot of our energy and some money into it. And everything looked like it was good, man. We were buzzing. We were on the articles. I felt like we were going to be the next Zuckerberg. And then Snapchat came out with Snapchat Memories. They ripped off like the whole thing we built and just built a whole section of Snapchat. And that's when we were really, you know, back against the wall. So we had the last money we had, and that's when Zeb was like, I have this idea. I really think we can go into the number one space in tech. I know it sounds crazy, but if you trust me, this will be $1 billion company. And, you know, now it's a $4 billion company. We're not done. We're just getting started.
Wow.
But that was that's how we came into it. And of course, they've been around a long time. A lot of these competitors have been around a really long time, but we differentiate ourselves, one, by really working hard on the product and listening to customers. Two, my marketing is crazy. Like, I do a lot of wild marketing. I have, you know, I got 2 HR guys dancing to WAP and things like that.
Yeah.
Just we're doing it different. We're not being boring like every other tech company. Yeah. And that's why people know the name.
Now, how many like active members does ClickUp have?
Back, man. It's in the upper millions. You know, like, I don't want to say the wrong number on here, but definitely 10 million plus. I mean, we have a lot of people using the app. We have major companies using the app, tons of teams using the app.
Wow. Is it subscription based?
Subscription based. You pay per month. And if you're enterprise, obviously it's a little bit more. We have very large companies, IBM, you know, so many logos you can look on the site. We have tons of major companies using ClickUp.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's backtrack even further, just because you watched a little bit of the
podcast.
you want, man. Yeah, man. So, like, where were you born and raised?
I'm born and raised in a small town called Martinsville, Virginia. There's nothing there, no mall, no movie theater. There is a NASCAR speedway, but I'm pretty sure no one here cares about NASCAR. Yeah. But we have that. It's a very small town. I grew up like, you know, farm life, all that, and I knew I wanted to get out of that. And when I was young, I got chosen. They did this, like, they came into poor towns. It's a very poor town. They used to have a lot of factory jobs, but after NAFTA was signed, all those jobs went overseas. Yeah. And so the town just went terrible. And there's just not many jobs. So as I was in, middle school, they came and they gave a test. They gave the SAT early. And they were like, okay, for all these kids from like kind of not so well off towns, for the ones who score well, we'll take you to Europe and show you what Europe looks like. And I studied. I wanted to go to Europe. Yeah. And I got chosen. And I went to Europe and I was mind blown. I remember like stepping into Switzerland and Italy for the first time and realizing the world is way bigger than my tiny little town. And from that, I was obsessed. I was going to do everything I could to get out. So I started studying tech and, really studying anything I could and networking and more. And that's when it was all born. And once I got to college, of course, I studied abroad again, and I was obsessed with figuring out how to get out. And I went to Virginia Tech. That's where I met Zeb, the founder.
Yeah.
We hit it off. We were always bored in school. We felt like they were teaching us things that were behind the times. We managed a rapper while we were in school. Went on tour with Wiz Khalifa, Mac Miller.
Yeah.
We had a crazy little time there.
I was in Pittsburgh for 10 years.
No way.
That's where I basically
You're right.
grew
Yeah.
up.
Right up. Right, just a little short drive away.
Yeah.
And yeah, so of course both those two.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were on tour with them for a bit. We thought we were gonna make it in the rap game. Didn't work out. Maybe
what was your guys' purpose? What'd you guys?
Honestly, as a kid from my hometown, he could really spit, and we were just bored, and like we knew marketing, and we knew that we could blow him up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I remember we were like breaking in the podcast studios at Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't find it. We didn't have any money for a studio.
Yeah.
And we were like using it to rap until they kicked us out. And that's how we were like recording our music. And it was good times, but we learned a lot of business stuff from that. So here's the cool stunt we pulled. I'll give you a cool story. So when we're at college, we're trying to blow up this rapper, right? And Zeb was really good at building social media. And at the time, Twitter was the most popular app. No one had ever built something that could like boost followers really quickly and boost accounts. Zeb found a way to build a program to do that. And when he did, he wanted to test it. And we were like, hey, if this works, maybe we can like blow up the rapper. So there was a big lottery at the time. You can Google the story, man. Chris Cunningham lottery. It's hilarious. But we pulled this prank in which I photoshopped a ticket, or Zeb photoshopped the ticket, and I was the only like gullible one enough to do it. And I put this ticket up, and I'm like, my life is forever changed. I won the lottery. And we go out to drink at the bars. Within 2 hours, my mom is calling me. My phone is blowing up. Twitter's blowing up. Everyone really thinks I won the lottery because he boosted with the likes. He had these fake accounts and went and liked it. All of a sudden, like, everyone thinks I won. Everyone's reporting that this young kid from Virginia Tech won the lottery. I'm talking news stations are outside my house. They're asking me to go on Good Morning America, everything. It was one of the most nuts things that's ever happened to me. And that's when we learned the power of social media, because from that, I was viral. I had followers. And back then, you only had followers if you were a real actor, an athlete. Like, you couldn't just fake it. Now, you can get followers. But back then, you couldn't. So it was a big deal. And that's when we learned the power of social media. And we started our first agency, which was an agency based around social media. And that was our first little venture that really helped fund everything else we did.
So you guys are like you guys like precede even the Iman Gadzhi when it comes to like the social media marketing and
way earlier. This is like, I don't know how, I think
you guys are like young. Ty Lopez type of origin.
Before him. Yeah. We were before Ty. So we had an agency that helped you get followers and grow. And we worked
what year that was. Cause I think Instagram came out around like 2012.
Yeah. So around 2010, we pulled this stunt and then we started the agency, and around like from 2010 to 2017, not 2015 or so, we were running this agency and it was popping. We were helping everyone grow on social. We had major clients. It was fun, man. It was a cool business.
Who were you closest to growing up?
Closest to in my family? Very close to my dad when I was young. My dad's a business guy. He built his store from the ground up. He was an athlete in school, got hurt, and then he took over my grandpa had a tire store, and he like didn't know what to do because he got hurt. So he started a produce store in my grandpa's tire store, which is Cunningham Tires and Produce. And eventually they dropped the produce, and he ran the tire store, built it up really well. So I learned a lot of entrepreneurship from him. I worked on the floor at his tire shop. I loved that. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Changing tires and all that.
That's sick. Like, you watching a UFC?
Not UFC, a little bit, not too much.
Well, dude, this killer right now is Alex Pereira, and he was.
Oh, I know who he is. Yeah.
He worked at a tire shop prior.
Did he really?
Yeah, prior to the UFC.
It'll get you strong, man.
Dude, yeah.
You got to jack the cars up. You got to pick up big tires.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so closest with your dad, did you have siblings?
Yeah, but all younger. My sister was a couple years younger, and I have two twin brothers that are way younger, half brothers.
Yeah. Okay. And what was like the hardest adversity like in your childhood that maybe helped you kind of pivot in life and kind of become who you are?
Adversity for me, there's a lot of things. I think the biggest for me was being from a small town. I think that was a big thing for me, and I always spoke very fast, and I had this this weird accent. Yeah. So when I first got out of college and went to this big tech company, I felt really inferior because I'd never been in this big city life, and I'd never really understood what I was going to. So I went to DC. I think that was new for me. Going to DC and really seeing how people competed. I think at first I felt like almost the imposter syndrome. Like, should I be here? And at the time, I remember I was broke. I was living in Baltimore, driving to DC for work because I got this job and I was staying at a friend's house. Didn't know where I was going to live or how I was going to pull it off. And you had this training at the beginning. And luckily, I crushed everyone. I think it's because I was so hungry. I was driving 2 hours there and 2 hours back, and I was just hungry, and I just crushed it. Became the youngest manager there. Company went public, And that was my first taste of what success was in the workplace. I got in some trouble in school. I definitely went the wrong route. I definitely did some things I probably shouldn't have. And, I'd gotten in trouble that way. So I think I dealt with adversity in that too, and overcoming, that, and then coming in the corporate world.
Yeah.
And trying to stay out of trouble. So I think that was the big thing for me. I was always good at sales, always good at talking. But then I moved into, that was at a company called Cvent, crushed it there. And then leaving Cvent was a pretty big thing too. I was the youngest manager. My parents thought I was crazy. Family thought I was crazy. Because, when you're like 10 years ago, the thing was get at a company, work your way up.
Yeah.
And that's it. But now it's like leave, go start your own thing, get equity.
Yeah.
Build something.
Yeah, 1,000%. That's what I keep preaching to everybody in the life insurance deal, because I'm a part of a life insurance company. We contribute to ultimately that top line, which is building somebody else's company. But I got a lot of young cats that come in, and I tell them, I'm like, man, you know what I wish I would have known even sooner than what I know now is, having all of this cash flow come in is awesome. There's not any equity. You're just building somebody else's company. And one thing I don't like about the sales world is I don't think they do a good enough job at like educating the youth, or even just people in general that get into sales, of like, you sign a 1099, you're filling out a 1099 on an annual basis, and someone to hit you with like, you're building a business.
There's no sales training, man. That's when
we're building your business.
I'm glad you do what you do, because there is no sales training. When I came into my sales job, there's no training, right?
Yeah.
You just got to you dive in, you figure it out, you watch some videos, you read some books. But I mean, really, you get your own like style of selling. I have my style. I sold ClickUps, like the first 10 million ARR. So I was our sales rep at first. I moved into doing marketing and social, but I was our first sales rep in the agency, at Memory, and then at ClickUp. Sales was my thing, but not really because it's just what I had done. And as we were building the company, I was the only talker. The rest of the guys were coders. So it was me to get on the phone. And so my style was always more of the like nice, friendly guy who didn't need your business, right? Like that's how I would close. I'd become your friend and be like, hey, look, you should check out our competitors. Go sign with someone else. I'd almost challenge them. It's like dating, right? The more you don't need it, the more they want to work with you. And that's what I had to figure out on my own. And I think you probably have your own style that you realize. Some people are more aggressive. I almost like the whole like walk away and then make them want to come back. And then especially I was lucky enough to have people who built a genius product, right? Like they use it here. Everyone can use ClickUp. So that was really easy for me. And the fact that the product was so good. So I was confident enough to say like, go check out our competitors. Go pay more money if you want. Because ClickUp's one of the lower cost and has everything.
Wow. That's incredible, dude. So you're launching a community called All Things Social next week with a famous TikToker.
Yeah, so I love that you brought this up. I'm launching a thing called All Things Social. This is with Chris Claflin. This is with Joe Zapian. And what this is basically there's a lot of communities who tell you, oh, here's how you can grow followers. Here's how you can do this. But a lot of people aren't teaching you the full thing of social. There's way more to social media, as you know right now. Yeah. There's way more to actually monetizing off social media, to having success in social media, learning storytelling, how to shoot up the content, the lighting like they have here. It's a lot of things, right? So we're creating this community called All Things Social. And with us three, we're all having different parts. So I will teach you how to build a brand if you want to work in social media, or if you want to create content for a brand, I will teach that. Chris Claflin will teach if you want to be a creator, how you become like an expert creator, because Chris has millions of views, one of the best storytellers I've ever seen. He knows how to create excellent content. Then Joe teaches everything on the back end of the content. So whether it be setting up email marketing, automations, all that good stuff, you need other things, right? You need mini chat, you need all these other things, different automations to make sure you're monetizing off the content you're creating. So that's why it's really like, it's called All Things Social, because it really is all things social. So I'm excited to launch that, man. By the time this is out, it'll be live.
Oh, this is going to get out. What's today, Friday? Oh yeah, no, this will be out probably in between Monday and Wednesday.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, dude. So that's phenomenal, because there's a wave going on right now of, especially in the social media realm, of individuals just preying on people and taking people's money and just giving illegitimate like social media advice. And I've experienced, just a little bit of social media credibility with people I've collaborated with, getting around high level guys like yourself and Eric, and getting into that circle. It's like, dude, getting into that room is the same deal in regard to building your brand.
Exactly.
Like there's no other way around it. It's the process, it's development, business development, actually growing yourself and growing your business over years. That's the quality of your content, not a fancy camera or fancy editing and everything like that. So it's like, it's hard, in regard to like coaching people or consulting for people on how to grow a brand when they don't want to put the work in. Like if you're not going to put the work in, brand building doesn't matter.
Don't even start.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And you got to figure out your style, like, I mean, it's great that you're in the room now. Like the fact you're on Eric's boat, and doing things like this. Like once you're around other people, you'll see everyone has their own style. Like Eric was saying on the boat, like he can just shoot a video regular, straight up, and it's going to get more engagement than anything with the high camera. So you got to figure out your style. Same with Like ClickUp, we had an entire video team shooting the super high quality, and it's great. But if you want to go viral on like TikTok, if that's your goal, that's probably something different. You probably need to shoot on your phone. So you need to understand what your goal is, who you're trying to reach. I think too many people don't realize who they're trying to reach in their content.
Yeah.
They just start creating. They think it's cool shit. They regurgitate other shit they hear from other people. All that's been done.
Yeah.
All that content is about to get pushed to the bottom because people are getting way better at creating content. So the ones who rise, the ones who are creating it from their soul, from something in their mind and taking something here and then bringing it to life, that's the ones who are going to win.
Yeah.
The ones who are just regurgitating, saying shit because they want to be cool, like people don't have time for that. They're scrolling.
Yeah, very quickly people are able to identify the lack of passion.
I can feel it, man.
You can feel
You
it.
can too. Everyone can. As soon as you're scrolling, you know, you're like, oh, that's just...
Because real recognizes real.
Immediately. It's one thing we don't really talk about enough, but people, you can feel it through the damn phone. You can feel it. You know, like, okay, this person's just reading off some script or had someone else write this script for them. Like I can tell when someone's speaking from their heart, and I love that shit.
Yeah, man. I love it as well. So I had in here also Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah.
You did a Super Bowl commercial.
That was a wild ride, man. So yeah, we had the video team. And if anyone ever wants to work with them, hit me up. Halogen Media, they're amazing. So we went through every realm. We talked to Gary V's team. We talked to everyone. We knew we wanted to make something big. We were just starting to get our name. We were, we need to compete with some of these giants. And to do something quick, a Super Bowl commercial is a quick way for the entire world to see you. Yeah. It really is. And to kind of put you in a more serious map. And it's hard to explain that investment. It's a very high investment. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like it's a lot of money.
Yeah, here's like $1 million for like 10 seconds.
You're talking like 6 to 7 million, I believe for like 20 or 30 seconds, something like that. Yeah. And then you're also talking, $1 million or $2 million to shoot it. And then you want to get actors. I remember we were trying to get some super major actors. We got actors, but not like, I was trying to get Britney Spears in it. She was not trying to come back out. I was trying to get her money back up. Yeah. But we tried everything. I had some wild ideas. We ended up going with something a little more safe in the Declaration of Independence and like making fun of it if they had ClickUp. So it was cool, great experience. But the real thing that I did that was very successful was building a social media campaign behind it. So I got a lot of NFL players, a lot of athletes, a lot of different influencers to talk about, okay, what was your favorite, rate your favorite Super Bowl commercials. And then they would rate theirs, and wherever we were, they would put us in there. And then, it worked out great because it's one thing to do a Super Bowl commercial. It's another thing to end up on, CNBC and these other stations. Yeah. So if you have a good one, then all these other stations talk about you. Then you're in all the YouTube reviews saying, hey, top 5 Super Bowl commercials. So if you make those, and which we did on a lot of them, I think almost every one, that's how you get extra. And then also did like a giveaway, for like caption this, best one wins a trip somewhere, so a lot of other people are talking about it. So if you're going to do something like that, if you're going to go that big, make sure you take your time to plan the social behind it, right? Plant the seeds and maximize what your spend is.
How much money do you think you've spent towards advertisement?
Oh my gosh, at ClickUp?
No, in life.
In life?
Yeah, all of it.
Like a lot.
Just advertisement just to generate attention towards a brand, product, service.
Man, I used to work for Dan Fleischman out of LA at Elevator Studio, and we spent a lot of money on ads and influencer marketing. We had Dan Blazarian's Ignite, we had Fit Tea, we had what's that called, Fashion Nova. I mean, we spent a lot. So I mean, it's definitely, we're getting very high up in the hundreds of millions for sure.
How important do you think that is?
I think it's extremely important, but I think it's important to know your content, because in that amount of money I've spent, I've seen some go great. I've seen some not go well. Like I remember there was a CBD tea that like came out, and they had done really well historically, and I think they just thought they were going to get Kim Kardashian and whatever to hold the tea and it would work. And that used to work like 8 years ago or so, but now you got to really think about who you're choosing as an influencer. It doesn't matter what you spend. You need to find someone who resonates with the brand. So what's important is how you build out the content, like how you think about the story, how you think about how you're gonna make people feel, what emotion are you gonna strike? That is what is important. If you just go spend money with no real deep plan, you just burnt your money on fire. But if you really take the time to think of a story, to think of a way to connect, think of what it really is. You look at like these major brands like Nike. Nike doesn't just sell shoes in their commercial, right? They sell the feeling of getting something done. Just do it. Same with Coke. The feeling of feeling good, of being happy. They're all selling something different than what you think. And until you realize that, no matter if you're a tech brand, if you're in insurance, whatever, it's a feeling. What do you want to feel? You want people to feel safe, probably in your world, right? Yeah. How can you make them feel like that in your content? Until you start realizing how you make people feel with what your money is spent, the money might as well just be saved.
Wow, that's good. Yeah, I remember. I don't know if it was. Who knows? So many motivational speakers have said this, but it's you'll hear people say it's not a matter of people won't remember what you say. They'll remember how you
say it. I think that's super true too. I mean, look, when you speak on stage, you'll start learning that. A lot of times you can get off on what you're saying, but if you still drive it home and you know when to pause and things like that, it's definitely true, man. It's the more I've been testing and I've been training myself. Like I like to speak on stage. I'm trying to get better and go on larger and larger stages. And that's one of the big things I'm learning. It is how you say things. It is how you pause. It's like a rhythm you get in. It's like a flow.
1,000%. 1,000%. So, despite knowing there's competitors, what was your mindset entering into, I know Zeb was just super gung-ho on, hey, look, regardless of the competition that we already have within the market of ClickUp, we're going to go all in. What was your mindset, though, individually?
So I'll be honest. I remember like there were definitely days, I'd love to tell you all, it was 100% for sure is going to work all the time. But there were days where I remember thinking like, damn, this is tough. And like, this space is wild. And we had a very strict regimen. We lived in this house and, Zeb made a deal with us. Like, we're going to be up at 5:30, stand-ups Monday through Friday, 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday. We work 7 days a week. We work till night. When we take lunch break, we take dinner break. And then when we like watch a little TV, we don't watch regular TV. We watch like, a Shark Tank or a TED Talk. Like everything was about getting better. We did weekly book reports. We would all read a book and then we'd all report it to each other on Sunday. So that way it was like we're reading 4 books a week. We were all about maximizing every second we had. So I knew that we were onto something, but there were definitely days where I woke up, like I was our first sales rep, right? So I was making call after call after call, just waiting for someone to say, yes, I want to buy ClickUp. No one knew who the fuck we were. So like, of course, like, no, I'm just going to go with the safe company who I know.
Yeah.
But then we built this tool that we called AppGator. And what it would do is anytime someone made a bad review, like they gave Asana or one of our competitors a 2-star, I'd get a notification and I could find them on LinkedIn and I'd hit them up and be like, hey man, I see you didn't like Asana. We don't like them either. That's why I'm building this. And eventually I started getting better and I really started realizing. So I think overall, I was saying, I really believed in Zeb. I really knew that he was the guy. He's like a Steve Jobs type. He has a vision. He thinks differently. He is a different level of a CEO. He can be involved in every part of it and win. So I always knew we were going to win. I'd be lying if I said I knew it was going to be as fast and as big as it is now. Like I knew we were going to get big.
When did you guys found?
2016 we started building. In 2017 we released. So I mean or maybe it's 2017, 2018. We've been around like 7 years live. So it's not like we've been in the game for so long. And we got to $1 billion valuation quite quickly. I think we're one of the faster companies to $1 billion valuation.
The people that want to exit 100 mil plus, billion plus founders and entrepreneurs, they want to get to that $100 million valuation, but they want to do it in a year, 2 years, 3 years. They want to do it instantaneously and be that unicorn. What are your thoughts and like advice to those individuals?
I think the best thing you can do, and what I learned that we did, is when you do get your first round of funding or whatever, you need to spend the money well. You need to have a plan for how to spend it, because that is what dictates how you get the next funding and everything else. Like we were already making, and you need to already be making some, in my opinion, you should find a way to make some money first.
I was going to say, how easy is it to raise if you don't have like proof of like revenue being generated? So
we're lucky. We built the company to making like 24 mil a year on our own. So it's not like we were.
And what were you guys doing with that cash flow? Just kept reinvesting?
Kept reinvesting.
Yeah.
And so
nobody went out and got the Lambo. Nobody went out.
We didn't care about stuff like that. I mean, eventually, but no, I mean, we're still, until we go public, it's not like I'm not loaded until we go public, right? I can't sell my stock. It's not worth anything. So I'm betting on ClickUp, right? Yeah. Like I have a salary. Like I'm just like everybody else until this thing goes public.
So still nothing crazy.
I could take some off the top, and some we have in some ways. I haven't as much. I'm really betting on ClickUp for the long term, because think about it, if I sell it early, cool. But
do you live right on the water?
I live right on the last island of Venetian, but I'm not like in a house like Eric. I'm not living like that.
Okay, I was gonna say like
until we go public, I'm not like that, and that's cool with me. But I could take some off the top. But think about it, if I take it off the top, then what about when we go public? And what if it 3X's? What if it 5X's? Like it's smarter for me because I'm fine now. Like sure. I want the Lambo. I want the house in the Venetian too.
Dude,
but
this is what I need my young hustlers to listen to, because there's such a, especially with social media right now, that comparison disease of like looking at like, oh, this 12-year-old has a Bugatti. This person did this and that person did that. And it's like, dude, you don't know the odds of that being really legit.
It's usually not.
It's usually not.
But there's beauty in like, I don't, like sure, I could probably make more if I had a course right now and I'm like, oh, I had this Lambo, but I think there's beauty in being real and be like, yo, I'm still on the come up too. Until it click, like sure, a lot of my investments in ClickUp, and it looks really good. We should go public in a couple of years, but I still got to be smart just in case we don't. That's why I'm starting this community. That's why I'm like speaking on stage and adding as much value as I can in marketing. I know what I've mastered. I know what I'm good at. But at the end of the day, like same time, like let's say I was making, X amount a month. Still, when you get that equity and you get that hit, that's a lot of money at once.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people don't get. So it's really just gambling. I'm gambling in the real world, and I really like my odds.
$500,000 or $500 million hits your account. What are you doing with it?
Man, the first thing I want to do is definitely just, I think I would just hide a little bit of money right away. I think I'd have a little fun. I think I'd give some to my family. I would get into some real estate. And then, I'd start finding a way to make the majority of the money make more money for me, right? I mean, everyone has money.
Start
It's easy to
building
keep. It's easy to keep money once you have money.
Yeah.
Right. So I just want to start getting some other things that build cash flow, and that's what I would do. I would
Would you
just
stay in what you know?
I think I look. I'm still going to probably stay at ClickUp. I want to ride this thing all the way. So I would stay there. I think I'd stay in marketing. But I think I would definitely find ways to make money with my money. I want to have generational money as well.
How important is it for young hustlers to stay in what they like, to stay locked in on one thing, opposed to bouncing from the shiny object syndrome or the grass is greener over here? You know what I mean? You'll get a guy or a girl will start building something here and they're like, this isn't working, so now I'm going to go do that. Or this isn't making me any money, so now I'm going to go try that out. And so they'll start something over every year. Every other year, they're starting something over.
Every young hustler, I mean, you look at almost every book, they need to read all these books. Read Atomic Habits, read The One Thing. Like if you see a lot of these read Essentialism, a lot of these books have a pattern, right? And a lot of the advice that the real entrepreneurs are giving you have a pattern. And it's to say no to a lot of things. You hear this all the time. And it's the truth. You need to say no. You need to focus in, because think about it. Let's say I want to be a master of 3 different things and I study. Okay, then I'm going to be a little jumbled. You also lose when you jump from one thing to the other. But let's say that I have decided, like I have, that I want to be a master in social media marketing. And I know that every day I'll spend at least 45 minutes studying, whether it be a podcast, a YouTube video, whatever. I will find a way to learn and get better at that craft. After some time, you are a master, right? That is your thing. That is what you do. That is what you focus on. So I think it's extremely important to focus on, I'm not going to say just one. Like if you want to juggle something else, cool. But you need to master some shit. You need to find your lane. Yeah. And again, make it something you're passionate about. That's a plus. Like again, make some money. Like I think everyone says follow your passion, but you also just don't want to be an artist doing nothing. So find something that makes some money, but that you also love doing. Or maybe you can find a way to love what you make money at.
Yeah.
But either way, you got to find out what you're good at.
It's like a unicorn though too, because Eric's on a yacht and I was like, I don't know what we were talking about. He was like, dude, I didn't love getting my ass kicked for 13 years building this company.
Exactly.
And then he looks at me, he pauses, he's like, but I love this yacht.
Exactly.
I was sitting there like,
and it's true, man.
Shit.
So that's why I don't get too into the whole, follow you love. Like sometimes you just got to get your ass kicked. I didn't love every day of building ClickUp. It was really hard in the early days. I'm waking up at 5 a.m. every single day and reporting and moving along in something that was very tough that I wasn't sure if it was going to pay me out or not. That was very fucking tough too. But again, if you have the insight and you can find a way to love the process, you still can, because there is beauty.
You
and
find
hard
fulfillment in the exhaustion. I've discovered in my sales journey still so far and starting to identify like where am I going to take this capital and build equity and what am I going to build, is the fulfillment is in the process. Like I look at the people that I like connecting with, guys like Eric, and I'm like, dude, he's still talking about the process. He's still talking about building. It's like he's got $100 million plus, talk about you and the valuation of billions of dollars, and you still talk about the process and building. I connect with that energy more than I connect with I want the Huracan, I want the Rolex. And I was like, dude, that's cool, but you're already complacent. You're already satisfied. What about the hunger,
exactly,
and the fight and the hunt? I don't want to stop hunting until I die. That's just that feeling of you're building something, you're getting better.
That's why I think when you ask me, it's like, I don't even know, man, because I'm probably still gonna be building. You know, like I'm still like, I don't see myself stopping. Like I love to travel. Sure, love to have some fun.
You can build
have a family, but I can do both. Exactly. I don't know. I just love building. Why would I stop? Like you only give it so much time in this life. Why not build everything we can?
Absolutely. I know this super wealthy gentleman in insurance, and he keeps. I went and toured his. He's got this nice layout in Washington. It's super wealthy out there. You wouldn't.
He's killing it.
Like Washington, right above the Silicon Valley.
Yeah, Oregon,
right up there.
Yeah.
So killing it. It's been in insurance though for 40 years, and shows me around the crib, and he's got clocks everywhere, like grandfather clocks everywhere. It's kind of creepy. It was like a horror movie a little bit in his garage. And I'm like, what's the point of these clocks? And he's like, just to remind you how precious time is. All you hear in the garage is tick, 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 tick.
Wow.
And he's like, just to remind myself on the come up, I don't have much left. You just hear ticks, 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 ticks. And he's killed it killed it. I can't think, like, if people made a list of like profitability, he hasn't exited, Profitability, this is like a top dog, like a Patrick Bet David type of individual. And it's like that hit my soul. Cause I feel like tomorrow I could be dead, or I feel like I'm 25, but I feel in my mind like I'm 80. I feel so behind. You know what I mean? I'm like, the fuck, dude. Like, what am I doing?
The goal of everything we do is to save people time, and it is the most valuable resource. Like ClickUp, the whole mission is, it's like our whole catchphrase is save a day a week, right? Because like the goal is if you can save people time, that's more valuable than money.
It's the most valuable thing in the world. Valuable.
But I mean, I think it's that's why it's so important to like schedule out what you do, to know what you do, but also being present. You know, so many people get stuck in their phones, and if you're doing work, cool, but like knowing how to turn that off and to be present and to really enjoy the time and enjoy the time of work, know how much time you're putting in. Know that your time is moving something. That's like a big thing for me. Like I know that whether it be building a new friendship or whether it be, building a new company, building a new skill, as long as my time is moving to something, or it better be some damn good enjoyment. That's it.
1,000%. You know, my girlfriend, she's so phenomenal at this. We'll go to dinner, and I prior to her, I'm like this at dinner. I'm texting, emails, calls, all of it. And she was like, I'm not gonna ever go out on a date with you or dinner with you if you're on your phone. And she is a absolute killer in business as well. So I'm like, babe, why can't we just keep doing business at dinner? She's like, when it's dinner time, it's dinner time. It's just us. Phone's down. My phone's down, your phone's down. We're locked in on us. And I'm like, I love this girl. She's incredible. But it made me become even more present in my actual relationship building with the people in my sales team, with business ventures, going out with, getting on the yacht and everything like that. Be present where you're at. It's so valuable. But also you mentioned, and I want you to talk on this, is how important is it? Because people look, when you're investing, you're looking at, is this going to appreciate or depreciate? How important is that to have that perspective with relationships? Is this relationship going to make you better or worse?
It's extremely important because again, it takes your time. And to touch on the phone thing, like I was at Casadillo's trying the new restaurant last night. It's awesome. But I saw so many people on their phones, man, like just straight in their phones. And
robots.
We're good about that with my girl too. Like we keep it to the side. And just go into it. And during work days, I keep my phone very much like I usually hide it. I don't like to know where my phone is because I don't even want to get the itch to go get up and go get it. Like I during the work day, like a lot of people get annoyed, but you really can't call me. Like I'm building, I'm focused. If I have a call with you, it's set. I'm very much so keep my phone away because again, I'm not in sales. I'm more in marketing now, so I can do that. And it just allows me to get in that focus. And I need to play like certain types of music. That's how I get into it. But as opposed to investing in relationships, like everything you do, right? Like when you keep someone around who is taking from you and taking that energy, that's your time. And I had to learn that lesson the hard way because obviously I have so many friends. I've lived in different cities, but it's very hard to keep up with everyone. And not every relationship serves you, even if they're not a bad person or whatever.
Yeah.
So I am very OCD about my time. I'm very OCD about who I answer the call with, who I spend time with, who I take trips with. And that's just what it's got to be. And luckily here in Miami, my friend group is solid, man. And you'll start hanging with some of the guys. I've got some solid people here from Chris Vasquez, Tommy Baldwin, Eric Spoffer. I've got some very awesome people I get to hang with on the regular. We're all neighbors. We all live right down on the Venetian. So it's just incredible, man. It's incredible the time I can spend and we all grow and have conversations like this. Like a lot of the stuff, we should always have a mic because we're always speaking some game. Like always, I'm learning from these guys all the time.
I'm buying a shack on the Venetian as soon as this is over.
Yeah, man. I'm getting close. I'm
getting a shack.
I got to do it.
I think I told one of these guys the other day, well, it's like a boathouse or something costs on one of these islands.
I mean, hey, man, you get like $20K a month. You can rent a little something. You can rent some on there. It might not be the best, but you can still get a house on the Venetian.
Proximity is power, though, man.
It's the most. That's why I had to move back over here, man. Like,
where were you? Were you still in Palo
So
Alto?
I lived here for a year, and then I was dating my girl, and she was in Mexico, so I moved to Mexico City.
I heard you talk about Mexico City.
Yeah, I want to show her I was serious. I was there for a year. It was very tough to be away from. There's not as much business in Mexico City.
Yeah.
But then I brought her back here, and now I'm back. I just got back like very recently.
Now, was it living like a king out there?
Absolutely. I mean, you definitely live a little better for sure. I mean, the dollar goes very far. You live like a king. I do miss that if I'm being honest, man. You live really well out there, but still live really well here.
You just walk into places, King Chris.
I mean,
how can we serve you today?
I mean, they're like that. Their service is just way better. Mexico City has better food, better service, but yeah, I mean, look, everywhere's getting expensive, but Miami's definitely expensive.
Yeah. Oh my, dude.
This place is wild.
I wake up today, check my Amex, I'm like, how has it doubled since moving from Chicago?
Oh, it's easily. Oh yeah, because Chicago's pretty well priced. Here it's expensive.
I thought Chicago was kind of expensive,
this is one of the hottest places to be, man.
It's great, but it's motivating as well because
look who we're hanging out with.
Exactly.
Look who's on that boat. I mean, you could just be at Pura Vida and meet somebody crazy. You just don't know.
1,000%, man, 1,000%. So, man, as we start to wrap up, is there anything else on your mind you wanted to talk on? shout out, talk on, anything whatsoever?
Man, we covered a lot of things. Let me think.
Do you have a favorite movie?
Favorite movie would have to be The Prestige. I love anything that has a twist at the end. I love anything that makes me like stay on the edge of my seat. I don't know who the killer is. I don't know what's happening. Like anything like that hits me.
The Prestige, who's in it?
The Prestige. Oh man, Christian Bale and
that sounds hardcore.
I forget another act. It's man, if you hadn't seen it, I'm jealous because I wish I could watch it for the first time.
Yeah.
Same with The Usual Suspects. You might be too. That's right. You're 25. You're too young for all this. The Usual Suspects.
How old are you? 30?
I'm 35, bro.
There's no way.
I'm getting up there. So the Usual Suspects and The Prestige, add that to your list, and you'll thank me later. They're incredible endings.
What's your favorite? So you guys watched all the entrepreneur stuff. What was your favorite entrepreneurial movie or TV show?
Oh man, I really just like any of the stories on Steve Jobs, man. I'm
Incredible.
just obsessed with that guy. I mean, I just wish he was still around so our Apple phones would be way better.
You know who you have to follow on Twitter? You probably already do, but his name's David Senra. And the Founders Podcast.
Mm-hmm. Incredible.
And he consumes so much information on all these billionaires and all super successful people, and then he clips it all. You know what I'm talking about?
Insane,
right?
Of course.
Our
founder was on the podcast. Zeb was on it. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. It's pretty dope.
That's
he's
insane.
getting up there, man. ClickUp's becoming a pretty top company.
That's insane.
But yeah, I know the podcast well. It's awesome. I love what's your new favorite podcast you're listening to? I need a new one.
Dude, you know what? I have been so, I was on my early come up, all I did was 24/7 audiobook podcasts, and I listened to a lot of Andy Frisella. I heard
Andy's
you talk
a man,
about that.
bro.
I consumed Andy Frisella, I consumed Grant Cardone, and I consumed Ed Milet. And then from there, it started to evolve more into, because that was my first 3 years of sales. And then I started going into the Alex Hormozy and Patrick Bet-David the last 3 years.
TBD's great.
So I've been listening to.
They're all good friends,
too.
by the way. Like Andy knows them all. They're all cool.
Well, I can imagine because
they're all like at the top. Andy's podcast is the best, man. I still watch it.
I
all
just
the time.
started back. So I did the MFCL, got real going, and then I was like, dude, I need to market better. And so I got really into, because I got the closing down. I got Cardone, I got the closing down. Then I got the mindset down. You know, I'm 18 years old. I'm listening to MFCO. Like, I feel like when he first started podcasting. So like, I'm locked.
I'll announce it. I don't know if I can actually say exactly what it is yet, but Andy's got something big coming. Andy Frisella is launching something very big in a couple of weeks. Yeah. So I'll keep posted. Look out for that. It's going to be awesome. He's a great guy. I work with him on the side. He's just the best, dude. Probably one of the best guys. You're like,
dude, when I was listening to you guys talk about him, I was like, I just started watching him in the black dude. What do they call it?
DJ. It's
DJ.
Man, dude, DJ's hilarious. You should meet him at Bird. That dude's hilarious.
Bro, I'm locked in again with them, and I'm like, this is the energy that I want this energy into my mind all the time. I don't want any other shit.
They don't care about the fake stuff.
Yeah, I don't want no fake shit. Because I'm in Miami, and it's like, at first, it was like a toxic shock of like, oh shit, dude. What have I been doing with my life that I do not have a Bugatti right now?
But these people talk, and they might have one Bugatti, whatever. Like, I've been to Andy's house. He's got a garage of like 20 cars, man.
20
like, I mean,
Bugattis.
it's a different level. Like, it's funny. He doesn't even post like that. And Andy, he really has it. But I think that's the beauty of him. Like, he just lives it. He has his ducks at home, and he just chills.
Real as shit too. I'm listening to him this morning, and he was talking about, dude, I'm 10 years into building the business, and I was thinking about quitting. About going down. Some people can't even go 10 days without, having a bad week or missing a paycheck, and things aren't going their way, and their business and they want to just give up. He was 10 years in, and it wasn't going his way.
Yeah.
And he didn't give up.
Still stayed on, man. Look at it now. I mean, I'm seeing where it came from and going to St. Louis, seeing like how he owns that city, man. I mean, he has 3 massive bigger than your brain can imagine, like full of employees, all jobs in America, just killing it, man. Dude's awesome.
What a dog, man.
Yeah, man.
This was incredible. I keep saying this, but I'm locked in on taking Eric's advice in the podcast, and he's like, dude, focus on quality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, if they're not guys like on this yacht, don't do it. Because when I first started the podcast, I was like, I'm gonna get as many reps as possible. I don't care, and no disrespect to any of my guests.
Of course.
But like as many reps as possible. I'm gonna get anybody on here. I'm gonna get good, having a conversation, building up a community, and it's networking for me. You know what I mean? I've had a significant amount of conversion. I built it's not $4 billion. We built a $5 million insurance company.
We got to share with a lot more people. So,
Yes. Well, I built a $5 million insurance company, and I didn't use any other resources aside from social media to plug in my recruiting. So all my sales reps are all from social media. So it's like, for me, the monetization off of that, it's brought me a couple $1 million gross money over the last 3 years. And it's all been the podcasting, social media, running ads. And I'm like, dude, I don't know how people aren't making money in America when we have this free platform. Like, you don't even have to run ads, and you can like grow and document your real journey, not some fake journey, but a real journey, and people will buy into that.
You're doing a great job of it, man. Not many people are really consistent at creating content. I see you're doing it, whether it just be you walking on your balcony with the phone. Like,
I had to adjust.
you got to do that, man. Too many people are afraid to do it.
I had to.
I love creating. I'm never going to stop creating. I don't ever see myself stop creating. And then you'll find new ways to do it. I think that's the key. So anyone watching, man, you have to start a brand yesterday, because there's no reason not. Like, again, Gary Vee said it best. Like, if you could have a billboard for free, you know, in the middle of New York City, would you do it? It's like, obviously the answer is yes. It's like, you can do that basically online. You never know how many eyeballs you can get every day. So it's just crazy not to do it. Amen. Find a studio like this somewhere awesome. Put the investment in. It always comes back tenfold.
Amen. Where can people follow you?
Yeah, I'm just at Cunningham. At Cunningham on Instagram, TikTok, and then at Chris ClickUp on LinkedIn and Twitter, since they wouldn't give me Cunningham.
Perfect. Guys, another episode of AK.
Yeah, shout out the studio. What's the studio name?
Yeah, The Move.
Shout out The Move Miami, man. This is awesome.
The Move Miami, the best studio in the world. And they have the best people in the world too. Yes, sir. Let's go. Peace, guys.
Awesome.